one of the things that I also find interesting in your book, is your relationship with your mother and your relationship with your grandmother. It seems that they were very different. And what was the difference between the relationship that you had with them?
Gosh, it's probably a lot different from when I wrote the book. So when I wrote the book, my mother and I were both going through a process of learning about chronic stress and how it was. And so we processed a lot of stuff together, which I think was really good for us. My grandmother was just a solace in my life.
Yeah.
I call her the storybook grandmother. She was not very tall. She was a little overweight and she baked a lot. So there was always some sort of baked good. She was always around. By the time my father was the 8th out of 9 children, so she was older. By the time I was born, she was not. I mean, she wasn't working anyway. She was taking care of the home. But when I was there every time I was sick. Anytime I was out of school, I was always at my grandmother's house. So her house to me was hot tea, baked goods, and love.
Yeah. Wow, and this is your grandmother from your father's side.
Yeah, my grandparents on my mother's side were not alive by the time I was 6 months old when my grandfather died, and my grandmother died before I was born.
Wow, that makes no sense because I thought that was your mom's mom.
Okay. No, my dad's mom. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. All right, so this I also have to say, we're wrapping up. Second to the last question. In your book, something that I experienced that I've never experienced in any other book is your style of writing. It's very laid back.
Yeah.
You use words, you use some curse words sometimes. Sometimes I read the book, I'm like, am I reading this right? I look at the book. Is there any reason for choosing that kind of laid back style of writing?
I didn't choose it. It's just who I am.
Oh.
There was no choice to me. I was just writing the way I write.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, that's very powerful.
Yeah, it's just who I am. To me, this is a match.
Right.
So it's just natural. I can write in a very academic way. Yep. I've done a lot. After I finished my master's degree a couple of years ago, I went back to school and did another bachelor's in biobehavioral health. And I can write a very good academic paper.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's not going to be as real as this.
No, but it's not what I like it to just be like, hey, here's the information. Here's how I would talk to you if you were in my room.
Yes. But then we've lost that. So it's very important that you did that. But in the world whereby people we've been told to show up differently, as very differently from who we really are, because if you show up the way you really are, the world is going to judge you.
They're going to judge you anyway.
So why not just show up the way you
They're going to judge you anyway. This is, as a speaker, we met because you saw me speak. And as a speaker, I'm very much myself on stage. I'm not anybody else. I'm not pretending. I'm not acting. And because the stage you saw me on was Toastmasters, Toastmasters has a lot of rules about how you're supposed to be in a public speaking scenario, right? It's very strict. There's a lot of things. And I got off the stage and it was so funny because I had one person say to me, oh my God, I was watching you the whole time. You didn't make any of the mistakes that Toastmasters says that you shouldn't make. Like, you did everything the right way.
Yeah.
And then his wife was with him and she said, who cares if she did it the right way or not? Her message was so powerful. And that's what's more important. So side by side. Then, not 2 minutes later, I had someone come up to me and say, on stage, I wish you would have moved around more. You were too still.
Yeah.
And then somebody, I swear to God, not 2 minutes later, said to me, I was watching you on stage, and when you chose to move your body, it was so intentional. It made everything so much more powerful.
Wow.
Wow. So I have all of this, and from people that have very strict rules around what you're supposed to do on stage. If I had thought about that before I went on stage, I would have been a disaster.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think different speaking system, they have different way. In Toastmasters, we like gestures, movement. I gave a speech yesterday, actually, in my Toastmasters club. And one of the feedback that I got was like, I think you should move a little bit more around. And another person will tell me, well, because they know I could be funny, I have the funny side of me. When I give a speech and they know that it could be a little bit funnier, they tell me, you have to give that speech again. I'm like, what if I don't want to give it again? So it's very funny that you say that. That's just the way people are. People view life based on their experience and the things that they think should, and that's okay.
So no matter what you do, and no matter how you act, and no matter what mask you put on or don't, somebody is going to think you did a great job. Somebody else is going to think you did a terrible job.
Yep. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. So to me, like I always look at my results after, and there's always at least one person that says they would never like to see me speak again, no matter what. There's always at least one person, and I look for this result on purpose, because to me, if no one in the room says that they really didn't like me, that means I was not being authentic on stage. That means I was creating a persona for people in order to be liked.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to convince everybody that you're the best, and it's very easy to manipulate in this way. Wow. But if I don't do that and somebody hates me on the stage, I think I did a good job.
Yeah. So to buttress your point, my PhD thesis professor from Ghana will always say that when you give presentation, always know that somebody's going to try to get you.
Always.
So even in the scientific world, somebody's going to be like,
always.
They are not happy. They think you didn't do the job. They think, and it's just, So I always have that at the back of my mind. And that's okay. If you are the person